Welcome back to F.A.C.E, Julia.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Julia. Yes, welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. Do you remember how to share the screen in Zoom?
No, but I'll figure it out. I can figure it out.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that green box.
It's like it's showing me a thing. Okay.
Green button,
Share.
share screen.
There you go.
You see?
Yep. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with S&Ps, Julia, and your charts are so unique. You have about Eric tweeting all in, Eric's all in, Eric. What's Eric doing today?
You
Besides,
know,
go ahead.
I'm gonna miss Eric a lot if we don't have him anymore. That's gonna be sad for me. I'm gonna have to find
Oh,
new
he'll
indicators.
he's not going anywhere.
That's true. That's true.
He'll be around. So we've had some major events. We had the vaccine news a week ago from Pfizer and yesterday from Moderna. We have a contested, really isn't contested, just no transition of power happening here in the U.S. And I'm looking at the S&Ps up here, and I'm wondering, what does Julia see here?
Well, I try not to pay attention to the news, but
Yeah.
and just look at the charts. But to me, this looks toppy AF. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it tried to get higher again than
Yeah.
this candle wick, and it just hasn't been able to do it. I mean, RSI isn't loading right now, so I can't look at it.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, I think it looks super toppy. And I mean, we won't have confirmation on it, I think, until a daily close below my kind of doctor's bag line again.
Oh, I like that. That's where the bulls will have to call an ambulance.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Under 3,400. Okay.
that's where they're going to have to get the initial checkup. Like, oops,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
feeling ill, can't, can't breathe well, that kind of thing. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
yeah,
What
and
are
then
the dotted blue lines up on top that we're slightly above right now?
these, ha,
Yeah.
that is Eric's measured move of rightness from any one of his tweets.
I see.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So when
Okay.
he tweeted here, I took so Eric went all in here, and I did a measured move of rightness, this bear flag. He was
Yeah.
right to be all in for, some period
A
of
few
time.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I took the high low of the hour in which he tweeted, and then I created a measured move of rightness from the next time that he tweeted, so that I could, and it isn't it weird how it works pretty well. I mean, I don't
It
know.
is weird.
It is weird. It is. It's got to be something that doesn't have to do with his tweeting. But yeah, so that's what those dash lines are. And
Maybe there's an Eric Elgo. What do you think?
I'm irreverent about it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I
You're
haven't been following the ES chart. I mean, everybody does ES, and so it's like boring to me now, like a little bit.
okay.
So I
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty range bound. You have any view on Nasdaq? I mean, there has been a little rotation, and if you don't follow, you're tired of that. Okay, so there's Nasdaq.
I mean,
S&P's made new highs,
yeah,
and Nasdaq failed to do so.
correct.
So, what are you thinking?
So this is the weekly chart for the Nasdaq, and so I have a slope that means a lot to me. I don't know if it means a lot to anybody else or even anything else, but anyway, it's basically this weekly pattern it has is to sort of stay within these channels, break out, come back, retest whatever the last channel value was, and then this time it went two down for the pandemic, and
Right.
then it goes back above. So this last time that we have sort of a peak, my own theory is the longer it stays above this line, the
Yeah.
more likely it is to actually come down and get a little bit below it even. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a retest of this weekly channel line. And I think the longer it takes to get to it, the more I'm going to be a little bit concerned that it might come down 2 levels. But
And why is that? Because there'd be even more distribution, which
yes,
means a more powerful slide because there's more selling, insider selling, commercial selling that would make well the bigger the formation, the bigger the move, right?
yeah,
Is that
and
why?
I don't even
Okay.
honestly know why. It's just I don't.
I know
You know
you
what?
don't. I mean,
I mean, nobody knows, right? Because those people, I feel sorry for the people that have to write the financial articles and just, I mean,
yeah,
it's
they have to
madness.
explain it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like now it's up on vaccine, or it's up on vaccine hopes. It's down on da 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 da. They just, I mean,
Yeah.
they must have just a list of reasons, and then they kind of just choose them randomly out of a hat, and then they put them in. I mean, if
Easier
they,
to report than trade, though, Julia. So don't feel too
oh,
sorry for them.
oh, that's true. Well, I mean, but I do though actually because sometimes I use them as as contraindicators. If I
Okay.
see, oh, it's up on,
Yeah.
investors look for tech bargains. I'm like, row. That's mm,
Okay, so your purple line, I'm interested in it. It's parallel to the other channel that you had. There's no other anchor point. You know what? You're
no.
very intuitive. So, was it just because it was parallel to another channel that you drew that purple line?
Yeah. So what I do is I look for slopes that, investing.com is really screwy right now. So whatever, but I look for slopes that you're looking at these like, what? This is a terrible line. Anyway, I look for slopes that mean something to me. And then usually if I can find a good sloped line, I can move it around anywhere on the chart and it makes sense. Now, nothing's perfect, right? Of course it's not
Yes.
perfect. In fact,
Right.
I was talking to Rico the other day, and this part wasn't on the interview I did with him, but he said something really smart that is basically like this is, no matter what anyone says, there is art involved in charting. This is not a pure science. Because at any one point, a chart is simply a reflection of the psychology of the market. It is like basically charting someone's psychology, which people can be very predictable, but at any given time, there is a lot of random noise happening in someone's brain. And I feel the same way about the market. It can be predictable, but at the same time, there's random noise happening. So there is art involved. So what I do is I try to find the sciencey part of what algos respect with regards to slopes, because they're just programmed that way. And I mean, see, it's not perfect. It's not
Yeah.
perfect, but it's perfect enough for me. And it just seems like this slope is very well respected and it needs to be back tested. And the longer it's not, this is, by the way, this is not the most beautiful top I've ever seen in my life. It looks a little like crappy, huh? Like this wasn't either, but it's not, I mean, this is not, we don't have like a signal here other than these
Yeah.
huge, we have these huge wicks that mean more than huge wicks down here because they're a bigger percentage, right? So we have these
Right.
huge wicks, and it is actually looking, now that I look at it, it does kind of look like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Uh, you know, the trading about it not being a science, the art of it is when, not the if. So, I mean,
Yes.
everything is
Right.
the timing. And I think charting also is intuitive. Like people ask me, well, Dale, how do you draw your lines? And I answer with my imagination.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, there is a creative aspect to it. And, there is something there. Nasdaq did not make a new high, while S&Ps have made a couple successive new highs, which I haven't seen happen for a while. So that's an interesting look. Any other instruments that are on your radar that you have a pretty high degree of conviction that you want to talk
Um,
about?
oh well, I think a lot of people probably want to talk about silver. This is
Okay.
also a weekly chart. There's nothing, it's not the most
Okay.
beautiful chart in the world, but yeah, I heard your other guests talking about silver and
Yeah.
you know, I don't, it looks just like a ginormous, it's consolidation. It looks just like
Right.
a ginormous flag still, a pennant
Yeah.
flag thing, whatever. But I'm actually looking for a pretty significant drop in all the precious metals. But that's just me being greedy, I think, because I sold near the top. I mean, I sold near the top of silver. I know that
Yeah.
Rico, I think, sold near the top of gold, but I'm just being greedy because I can, because I sold up here. So I'm either waiting for a breakout or I'm waiting for something that would shake a lot of retail investors who now think that they're very safe because they're not.
Is
Um,
Rico's last name Rizzo?
no,
Do you
no,
know who Rico Rizzo is?
I do not, but I just laughed as if I did. That was a really
Okay.
good cover
Well,
up. Who is it?
Watch Midnight Cowboy. It's an oldie but goodie.
Okay. Who is in
Anyway,
it? All right. I'm right.
uh, Al Pacino
Oh, I should know this.
and John Voight.
Oh, oh, all right. I wrote it
Yeah.
down.
All right, Midnight Cowboy.
Okay.
Rico Rizzo. Anyway,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
to me, it looks like, yeah, a flag, and we're, kind
Uh-uh.
of working that uptrend line and fading. And you know what? I've done that too. Sometimes we see things with the bias of what we want to do. So you want to buy it at 20 bucks or 1960.
Yeah, I sure do. I sure do. I wanted to scare the bejesus out of some people, and I want to see people going, "Whoa," you know.
Would
But
you buy a breakout over 2710 if that doesn't happen?
oh, I sure would. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't. I did not bottom catch the silver. I didn't buy it down here. I bought it, I think, right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did. I bought it on this breakout, and I think I tweeted. I'm like reluctantly, I'm buying it on this breakout because I wanted it.
You have
Yeah,
great
I
sound
wanted it
effects
down
too.
here. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I wanted it down here, but I was like, I'm buying this breakout. Well, I was upset about it because that's
Yeah.
my thing is
Yeah.
bottom catching. I didn't catch it down
Yeah.
here, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, did I care that I didn't catch it after I started? After I mean, hello. Nope, didn't care about that.
Yeah, you know what? That's a lesson, Julia, because I know I used to, if I wasn't there for a turn, I say, oh, shoot, I missed it. But you haven't missed it because you're not short from the high or long from the low. That's
Yeah,
just, in fact, you had more evidence to be long.
right. That's
When
what
you
you're
got
supposed to
long,
do.
you
Yes.
had more confirmation instead of just, well, I think this is the bottom.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. And I guess in
Yeah.
trading school, like I don't know,
Yeah.
they tell you to wait for confirmation. Blah 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 blah. Yeah.
You following anything in the fiat currency world?
No. Well, you mean like
No currency, like
60s?
euro or dollar or
Uh,
anything there?
yeah, I have a dollar chart. I don't actually trade it though. I just look at it from
Okay.
other
Sure looks
people.
ugly, huh? Does it look ugly, or are we going to go to your champagne glass up there?
Well, you know
Back
what?
to
So I was wrong about this, but I think that comes from some bias. I actually thought it would go back here before it came down here, right about here when it was consolidating. I was like,
yeah,
maybe it'll do a little inverse head and shoulders thing. And it's interesting because it did actually the same way that I wanted two head and shoulders on the Nasdaq. This that and that got screwed up, but this
yeah.
same thing got screwed up. So that's interesting. Clearly they're related, but at the same time, I don't know that one is so leading ahead of the other that you could, if one was predictive of the other, why even chart the other? They're all just together.
Let me ask you this: when's the last time you saw Head and Shoulders formation manifest in work?
Oh, on the hourly charts, a lot of times they are the first signal of any change if it follows through. I had
Oh,
one
Yeah.
You know what's weird is I didn't
Does
talk,
it?
I didn't actually tweet about it, but there was one that was forming on the Nasdaq. I kind of subtweeted about it. I'm like, if it is one, this is the top of the shoulder. But I never tweeted about it because I had a feeling it wasn't going to happen. It's weird. I try to, not that I know, but it was weird. I just didn't. I had a feeling something would go screwy with it. Um, Unfortunately, but yeah, they work. They work.
Okay.
I think they work
I see a
more.
lot of them fail because they're so recognizable.
That's
You
true.
know,
Yeah, that's
that's a I want to believe them, but the jadedness in me says everyone's seen that, and I've seen shoulders fail so many times. But yeah, I mean, it's still valid, and maybe you have to just wait for the breakout instead of trying the shoulder prior to the breakout, which is
yeah.
I like to hear the ice crack. I want to get a lead or an edge on a formation. So,
Hmm.
okay, so what do you think? Dollar collapse coming? We're sitting right here at this one of
Well,
your lines.
yeah, it is sitting right here. So this is again an example of me taking a. So I had these two different slopes that I was watching for the longest time, and
Yeah,
then initially this slope actually, I mean, it was like I looked super smart for just a little bit of time because this slope had the bounce. But then
right.
when it broke through this green slope, I had to add this pink slope in, and now the pink slope is holding it. So right now, it is hanging on by a freaking thread. Like,
Yeah,
and it's at RSI support. So you know that's
yeah,
good for it, but it is hanging by on by a
yeah.
freaking thread
Better
here.
dig its heels in here or 90.
Or
Here we
or
come
else
in. Yeah,
or
okay,
else, right?
okay.
Because it's got a lot of room to go too before this next RSI support if it goes through, and it's I mean I don't know where price support is here. I'd have to like rewind like really go back and look. I don't know when was the last time the dollar was okay. So it was in 2000, you know, where
Yeah,
so here
2016.
the
Yeah,
18 and then it was
88.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah.
Ew.
There are
Yeah.
awful lot of bears. That's one of the only things, but they could be right for a while. They could be
Well,
right for a long time.
yeah. So another thing I learned from talking to, I mean, other traders was that, so yeah, it looks like crap, but so do all the other currencies. So one of them will have to not be crap, right?
Yeah,
Or I don't know. Maybe Bitcoin is the one that's not crap. But I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other commodities that you're watching? Do you keep an eye on oil?
I do. Yeah, I have been bullish oil and a little bit bearish gold for a month or so, I think. I don't remember exactly. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I am watching oil here for a weekly close above 42.16. I think that'll be good confirmation. And
Okay.
also at that time it'll be above all of these. I mean, it's already above all the MAs that are important on the weekly level. It just has to not. You can even go down, to 39 and change, or even actually you can go down. It can go down all the way, I think, to about here. It looks like. I'm just doing this in my
Okay.
head. Yeah,
Right.
so it can go down all the way to 38.22, and I'd still be like bullish. So
Okay.
uh, it yeah, I think that it would be a surprising thing to have oil go up and equities go down, but I think that it's not something that I mean it's something that could definitely happen. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
That would be maybe a geo event. I know I read this on my email that President Trump was actually thinking about bombing Iran a week ago. I actually had a bet with someone that he would, but anyway. So higher energy prices might be spurred by something geopolitical. I know I could see your charts above. What's your
Yeah.
view on natural gas?
Okay. Well, that's
The widow maker.
it is very hard to trade. I will tell you, I was long overnight and then I sold it this morning and then I was glad I sold it and then I was mad that I sold it. So anyway, I actually have a buy order in today at around, I think I put it in right under here, under this MA, under the 50. I think it's 50. Let me just check. Yeah, I put it in right about 265 or so, or yeah, yeah,
Okay.
here, because and it could bounce. It could do something similar to what it did here, where it just doesn't do much today. The it gives the Bulls a little bit of a break. It gives the Bears, you know, some hope for continuation. And then the next day might be the day that it does something special. But yeah, I don't know. I have a buy order in down here.
Okay. And what is JO? You have a JO chart
JO
up there.
is coffee. And speaking of Head and Shoulders,
Oh,
I know
okay.
I'm doing a big chart crime here
Yeah.
because Head and Shoulders are supposed to be like topping or bottoming patterns, and this certainly
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, I know it's a chart crime.
No,
I don't even
no,
care.
they people use them for continuation formation. So,
They
you
do.
know,
Oh,
yeah,
good.
I've
Yeah.
read
Oh,
about
all right. I don't know.
it. Yeah. Let
Yeah.
me ask
That's
you
good.
this, Julia, aside, charts aside,
Yes.
how do you maintain a good frame of mind and remain positive through um, the mental challenges of trading?
You know, that is a really good question. And you know, there are a lot of people on Twitter that are super supportive and that really can just, you know, sometimes everybody needs to hear what you already know over again. So when you're having a bad day or if you're trading poorly or something, I find a lot
Love.
of love. Yeah, love and just
You
people
can
saying,
say
well,
it. It's not
okay.
illegal to say the word in America anymore.
Yeah,
Love. So,
love. Yeah.
yeah. So even though it's virtual,
Even though
love.
it's virtual, I feel like I have an online family a little bit.
Okay.
And
All right.
yeah, they're just really nice and supportive and also though they don't let each other get away with anything too. They're like, well, you know, they it's like tough love sometimes. You know, when I was short the Nasdaq, when it was a bit higher, people were like, you know, please stop doing that. And they were doing it out of a place of love. Like
Right.
it was not like you don't know what you're doing. Or maybe it was, I don't know. But they were just like, please don't do that. Like, please, then we'll feel better about it. But anyway,
What a
yeah.
great
So,
testimonial for traders to belong to a community.
yeah.
Because, communities commune and share and lift up each other and share ideas and mastermind. And I'm such a big believer. I think that's probably the best part of social media when it came to the trading community is that um, like-minded people could gather, share, and support each other. And we only have two eyes. Let me ask you this: do you get ideas from people in your community that if they hadn't pointed it out, you wouldn't have seen it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly. I have some brilliant followers that
Yeah.
they're unbelievable and yeah they'll show me a chart of something. I'm like, ooh, I like that, that is
Yeah.
good. But you know, none of us think the same, which is also great. So
Yeah. I
so
mean, have you ever noticed probably the people that you interact with have different methodologies? They might use Elliot, you use champagne glasses, and
yeah.
Eric Trump.
Uh-huh.
And, that when different methods are pointing towards the same outcome, does it build your conviction about the idea?
It does, yes, 100%. 100%.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I love Soccer Mom, and she uses, I don't even know what kind of bands they are. Bollinger bands, I think. I'm not sure. There's like all sorts of wavy bands going on. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's really interesting if I have a conviction and somebody else has the same conviction, how we got there, and then also how we're going to change our mind if we're not correct. Like it's completely different. So
Hey,
that's yeah.
Julia's. So I know that people could follow your work and become part of the Cordova clan trading clan on Twitter at Cordova Trades. I
Mhm.
also know that you have a pretty active YouTube channel. What's the best way for our viewers, listeners that are watching us live and then see the video later to get a hold of you? And how are you and your community members communicating? Is it by Twitter? Do you have a chat room? How are you doing it?
Just by Twitter. I don't have a service or anything. I don't sell anything. My videos are free. My Twitter's
Okay.
free. So just Twitter or YouTube. I'm pretty accessible.
And how are you dealing with pandemic fatigue?
Um, yeah, I've started now going out to restaurants or taking my mom, like going out
Yeah,
once a week, and just eating outside. So
yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do to be somewhat normal, but also to be still very cautious.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Well,
It sucks
yeah.
for
Okay.
everyone.
So we could say love, and we could say it sucks, because you know
Yeah.
what? It's my show. So anyway, Julia, it's always a pleasure to have you here, and you're such a unique, intuitive trader. And I hope that you and your loved ones remain untouched, and that you have a great fall trading season.
Thank
And
you,
we'll do
Dale.
it again down the line.
I appreciate it.
Okay, everyone, Julia Cordova. Let's look so you could follow her at Cordova Trades, and maybe she'll introduce you to Soccer Mom and some of the people that she exchanges ideas with. And she really is a unique personality trader on FinTwit. Thank you, Julia, for edifying our community today.
Thank you.
We love you here at FA. See, love.
Love you back.
All right, so that's a wrap for Turnaround Tuesday, everyone. Have a great session, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Thank you again, Julia, my trading warrior sister. And remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios.